In October 1978, 20 years after he was first elected Pope and prevented from exercising his office, Cardinal Siri will enter the conclave for the fourth and final time. In the days leading up to the conclave, Cardinal Siri is portrayed negatively in the media. It is repeatedly reported to an emotional public that he criticized the recently deceased Pope John Paul I. With major publications like Time and Newsweek joining in on cue, one has to wonder how organized and powerful a force it was that wished to prevent Cardinal Siri from taking the papal chair and restoring order in the church.
See what he mentioned there about how powerful a force was against Siri? It's like, oh my goodness, like, as I mentioned before, man, when you see the prophecy section, there's no doubt, like, it's just, I don't see how it's possible that so many of these prophecies are not talking about Siri. Even the whole point of, like, because I think one of the prophecies by Mary Julie Jehani has the Lord said to her, basically there'll be like a revolution and there'll be like a storm that this Pope has to do with, like such an overwhelming force of evil. And you see it here with, like, where he says all the newspapers and the magazines and stuff are all against him and stuff. And like, that's the thing with, like, if you look into, like, you know, conspiracy theories and stuff about how the world is run and all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, Freemasons, you know, communists, globalists, Jews, all this stuff, they run the world without making it clear that they run the world. You understand? They like to be in the shadows, like to be in darkness. As the Lord said, those who work evil like the darkness. They like to be in the night. You understand? They like to not be seen clearly working their evil. So there was an overwhelming storm of evil that this one man would have to fight. You understand? And our situation, as I mentioned before, our situation is so horrible, so dire. There is such an overwhelming force of evil running the world and persecuting the church that I don't see how it could be resolved. I don't see how it could be resolved without God himself supernaturally intervening. Okay? There's something like Sodom and Gomorrah, where he destroyed the whole city. Something like Noah's flood, where he destroyed most of the earth. Most of the people in the world were killed except 8 people, right? Something like that, I can totally see how something like that is basically what is necessary. That is what is necessary. God has to wipe out most of the world. And that is what the 3 days of darkness is prophesied to be. Basically, like either 3/4 or 4/3 of the world being completely killed by God, you know, raining down fire from heaven, unleashing demons from hell, natural disasters, all this kind of stuff. Just completely wiping the world out. And I pray for that basically every day of my life. Basically every day I beg God, please destroy the world. I beg you. Please, sir. Please destroy this godless world. Please destroy it. Oh, you know something kind of funny? You know how those who like seen Batman and stuff or might know this quote? There's a quote from Batman, I think by the butler Alfred, where he said, like, to Bruce Wayne, he was like, you know, Master Wayne, there are some people who just, some men just like to see the world burn, Master Wayne, or something like that. Some men would just like to see the world burn. Yeah, I'm one of those men. I'm one of the men who love to see the world burn. I want the world to be destroyed, just like Noah's flood. Why? Because the world's completely godless and it needs to be cleansed. It needs to be purged of all this wickedness. So I am one of those men, according to Alfred, who just wants to see the world burn. Yes. Some men just want to see the world burn, Master Wayne. Yes, I'm one of those men.